We're back for another episode and another deep dive. Let's get ready.
Hey marketers, ever feel like you're stuck in a visual content black hole, spending hours searching for the right image, only to come up empty-handed?
It's the worst, right?
The worst. But what if I told you AI is about to change the game when it comes to image sourcing?
And we aren't just talking about making things a little easier. This is a complete overhaul. We're talking about AI that can generate totally unique visuals instantly.
Okay, hold up. Back up a second. AI is creating images now. From scratch.
Yeah, from scratch. You basically give the AI a text description, we call it a prompt, and it uses that to create an image.
So if I'm picturing, let's say, a cat wearing a tiny crown and riding a unicorn.
You got it. AI can make that happen. And it's not just about silly stuff either. These AI models have learned from massive data sets of images and text. They get how words translate into visual elements, shapes, colors, even whole artistic styles.
That's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So I don't need to be a coding whiz to make this work.
Nope. And that's the really exciting part. Even though the tech behind it is complex, things like generative adversarial networks, GANs, and diffusion models, using it is becoming increasingly user-friendly.
That's good to hear because honestly, I'm more of a point-and-click kind of marketer.
Sure.
But how does this actually help me reach my target audience? What's the real-world impact?
Imagine this. You need a super specific image for a new campaign. Something that screams your brand but doesn't exist in any stock photo library.
Been there.
Right. Well, now you can just tell the AI what you want and bam, you've got a custom image. No more settling for a generic or, worse, paying a fortune for a photo shoot.
Okay, I'm starting to see the potential here. And it's not just about, like, saving time and money, right?
Yeah.
This could unlock a whole new level of creativity.
Absolutely. We're already seeing things like AI-generated virtual influencers that look incredibly realistic, images that can adapt in real time to a user's browsing history. It's about connecting with your audience in a more personalized, dynamic way.
I have to admit, a small part of me is still a little skeptical. Can AI really nail the nuances of what makes a visual truly effective? I've seen some interesting AI creations out there. You know, the ones with a few too many fingers or something.
Oh, absolutely. It's not perfect yet. Text is still a big hurdle. Getting it to look natural within an image can be a challenge.
So it's not like we're going to be replaced by AI art directors anytime soon.
Not by a long shot. Think of it more like AI is a powerful tool in your arsenal. It can help you work faster and explore new ideas, but ultimately it's still up to you, the human marketer, to provide the strategic vision.
It's about working smarter, not harder, right?
Exactly. And speaking of smart, a recent report from Markets and Markets predicts that the AI image generator market is going to explode from about 8.7 billion USD this year to over 60 billion by 2030.
Wow. That's not just smart. That's a tidal wave of change. It sounds like AI image generation is here to stay. But for those of us ready to ride that wave, what are some of the platforms and advancements that we should be paying attention to right now?
There are a few major players, all doing some really cool things. DALL-E 2, Stable Diffusion, and MidJourney are the names you're going to hear a lot.
DALL-E 2. That one rings a bell. Didn't it go viral for creating, like, those crazy realistic images?
You're thinking of DALL-E 2, yeah.
Yep.
What's really remarkable about it is how well it understands the relationships between different concepts. You can give it some truly bizarre prompts, like, I don't know, a teddy bear conducting an orchestra of penguins on Mars, and it'll create something that actually kind of makes sense.
Okay, that's officially beyond cool. That's just wild. And this is something marketers can actually use.
Absolutely. And the technology just keeps advancing at a mind-boggling pace. Take StyleGAN, for example. It's gotten so sophisticated that you can now control incredibly specific details within an image down to facial expressions, even individual strands of hair.
Hold on, back up. We're talking about creating images of people with custom facial expressions. No more awkward stock photo smiles.
You got it. This is huge for creating marketing visuals that connect on a much deeper emotional level. Need to swap out a background, change the lighting. AI can handle it in seconds.
See, that's what I'm talking about. As marketers, we're constantly up against it. Tight deadlines, limited budgets. If AI can take some of those time-consuming tasks off our plates.
Exactly. It frees you up to focus on strategy, on crafting those compelling narratives, building deeper connections with your audience.
So less time in the weeds, more time focusing on the big picture. I like the sound of that. Okay, so AI image generation sounds pretty amazing in theory, but let's talk practicality. Where do we even start?
That's the thing, right? There are so many platforms and tools popping up, it can feel a little overwhelming.
More than a little.
Right. I always tell people to start by really thinking about their needs. What are those repetitive tasks, those visual bottlenecks that are sucking up all your time?
So if I'm constantly creating like variations on a theme for a social media post or needing to remove backgrounds from product images.
Exactly. Those are perfect examples. Some platforms are specifically designed for social media content creation. Others excel at things like background removal, object replacement.
So figure out your pain points and find the tools that address those specific needs.
Exactly. Now, we talked about those big names, DALL-E 2, Stable Diffusion, MidJourney. Those are definitely worth checking out. But there are other tools emerging, some specifically designed with marketers in mind.
Oh, spill the tea. What are we talking about here?
One that stands out is MediaMonk.ai. It's built to integrate directly into a marketing workflow, so you're not jumping between a million different platforms.
Seamless integration. I like where this is going. How's it work?
It's all about streamlining your visual content creation process. Imagine having this library of AI-generated images right at your fingertips, all customizable to match your brand guidelines, your campaign needs.
Okay, so I'm picturing I could basically feed MediaMonk.ai my brand's visual identity and then just start plugging in prompts for specific images.
Pretty much. Tweak colors, styles, compositions, all on the fly. It's like having a team of virtual designers working alongside you.
That's wild. But isn't there something about that serendipity that happens sometimes? You know, when you stumble across that perfect image and it just clicks. Will AI kill that happy accident?
That's a great point, and it's something I've thought about a lot. But here's the thing. AI doesn't have to be this rigid process. You can use it for inspiration. Try generating a bunch of different options based on a single prompt and see what sparks your creativity.
It's like having a brainstorming buddy who just happens to have a supercomputer for a brain.
Exactly. It's not about replacing your intuition. It's about pushing it further, exploring possibilities you might not have thought of otherwise.
Okay, so we're pushing creative boundaries, saving time. But what about the bottom line? Is this going to break the bank?
That's a common concern I hear, but the good news is that AI image generation is becoming increasingly affordable. Many platforms have flexible pricing, free trials, options for small businesses. You don't need a massive budget to dip your toes in.
That's what I like to hear, accessible for everyone.
Absolutely. And as the technology becomes more sophisticated, we can expect to see even more competition, which is always good for the consumer.
Now, here's a thought, and maybe I'm being a little cynical, but could this lead to a homogenization of visual content? If we're all using AI to create images, are we all going to end up with the same generic stuff?
That's a valid concern, but personally, I'm more optimistic. I think it will actually have the opposite effect. AI gives us so much more control, so much more freedom to experiment with different styles, different variations. We can move beyond those limitations of traditional stock photography and create visuals that are truly distinctive.
So it's about taking those capabilities that AI offers and still injecting your brand's unique personality, your own creative vision.
Precisely. AI is a tool. It can enhance your creative process, but it shouldn't dictate it.
This is really making me rethink my whole approach to visual content. It's exciting, but like with any new technology, we have to ask, are there any ethical considerations, any potential downsides that marketers need to be aware of?
Absolutely. With any powerful tool, there's always the potential for misuse. We have to be mindful of the ethical implications. Things like using AI to create misleading or harmful imagery.
It's a reminder that even in this age of incredible technology, we still need to be responsible for our creations.
100%. We can't just abdicate responsibility.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. If there's one key takeaway you want to leave our listeners with, what would it be?
Experiment. Don't be afraid to dive in and see what this technology can do. The world of AI image generation is constantly evolving. The possibilities are endless. The best way to learn is to just start playing around.
I love it. Embrace the experimentation, see where it takes you. Now, before we move on, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the big picture. What does the future hold for AI image generation?
Oh man, that's the million-dollar question. But I'll say this, what we're seeing now, it's just the beginning. The the tip of the iceberg. We are on the verge of a visual revolution, and it's only going to get more incredible from here.
A visual revolution. I like the sound of that. What's got you most excited? What are you keeping an eye on?
We're already seeing some mind-blowing advancements in things like 3D image generation. Imagine being able to create immersive, photorealistic virtual experiences using AI. Or personalized product demos. The potential is limitless.
Limitless is right. This is going to change how we connect with audiences in some pretty fundamental ways.
100%. We're talking about creating experiences that are more engaging, more personalized, more human, even in the digital space.
This has been an incredible deep dive so far. We've gone from the technical nuts and bolts to some seriously big picture thinking. And it feels like we're just scratching the surface.
That's what makes it so exciting. It's constantly evolving. What's cutting edge today will be old news tomorrow. It's an incredible time to be a marketer.
It really is. But for those marketers who are listening, and maybe they're thinking, okay, this all sounds cool, but I'm not quite ready to jump in, what would you say to them?
I get it. Change can be scary. But in this case, I think the bigger risk is not changing. This isn't some passing fad. AI image generation is the future of visual content. It's time to get on board.
So disrupt or be disrupted?
Yeah, I think there's some truth to that. But it's not just about survival. It's about embracing the incredible opportunities that this technology offers. Imagine every marketing campaign, no matter how big or small, with access to stunning, unique, perfectly tailored visuals. That's the power AI puts in our hands.
It's about leveling the playing field.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's about pushing the boundaries of creativity further than we ever thought possible.
And I think that's what's so important for marketers to remember. AI is a tool. It doesn't replace creativity, it amplifies it.
Exactly. It all comes back to the human using it, their vision, their ingenuity.
So to wrap things up here, I'm going to borrow a classic phrase and get your take on it. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, what's an AI-generated image worth?
That's a good one. Well, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, I'd say an AI-generated image, it's worth 1,000,000 possibilities.
I love that. And to our listeners, I think that's a pretty good note to end on. 1,000,000 possibilities are waiting for you. Explore them. Dive into the world of AI image generation. Experiment and see what incredible things you can create. This is one deep dive we guarantee you won't regret.
That's it for this episode. If you've enjoyed today's deep dive, don't forget to hit the follow or subscribe button. Until the next episode, keep innovating, keep growing, and keep marketing deeply.